करू का स्टार्ट शेअर होऊ देऊ पहिले
सगळेजण साइट टॅब मध्ये रिसर्च सर्कलचं चॅनल ओपन करून आणि ते व्हिडिओ व्ह्यू होते ना लाईव्ह एवढंच बाकी कोणी येऊ की नाही आपण 6 लाईव्ह दिसतो आणि आपलं वॉचिंग करू
Okay, good evening from India. I welcome you all to the research circle. Okay, so we are having with us Mr. Catalino and Mendoza, DMS, PhD, FRIED, Dr. LPT, Telso. Dr. Catalino, known well, has been an academician for last 25 years. In industry for 18 years, 18 long years and still counting. He is a graduate of Doctor of Management Science, Doctor of Philosophy in Human Resource Management, Master in Management, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering. Dr. Mendoza as an HR Management and Effective Communication Consultant, both in government and in private Fellow Doctor of Education in Royal Institute, Singapore, National Excellence Award for the Outstanding Graduate School Professor and Outstanding Research and Publication Awardee by Lead Philippines Global Award for Outstanding Graduate School Professor of the Philippines and Outstanding Research and Publication Advocate by Asia Pacific Award Council and Center for Promotion of Campus Journalism Incorporation. Nobel Prize Award for the Education Leadership Sweden, Outstanding Asian Research Leader 2020 Bank of Thailand, Best Research Paper Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. He is affiliated with following Leadership in Education, Academy and Development, Lead Philippines, as Director for Higher Education, Continuing Professional Development Institute as Associate Editor for the International Research Journal of Applied Linguistics and Literary Studies, Kingdom of Thailand, International Association of Researcher, Administrators and Researchers as a TESOL Trainer, Kingdom of Thailand, World Research Association as Editor for Advances in Management Journal India, Premier Publishing Organization as editor for Global Journal Management and Businesses, GJMB India, International Academic Forum as associate editor for Journal of Business and Management and Journal of Education, Japan, Association of International Research as associate editor for Business and Education Journals, USA. He is now working as a professor of graduate studies at Belgium University and serve as a member of the Research Ethics Board, faculty and a research coordinator of the College and Business and Administration at Billiken State University, Boston campus, professor of Institute of Education, Art and Sciences at the City Colleges of Angels, Vice President Consultant at AGP Elevator Incorporation, Tondo, Manila, HR and Management Consultant at Valgrant Electric Supply, AECS Trading and Manufacturing and Television Surveillance Solution, on-call HR consultant at Nesable Corporation, Boston, Billiken. On-call consultant at Stronglink Service Corporation Incorporation, Billiken. So, with very due respect, I welcome Mr. Catalino Mendoza. Please, over to you, sir.
Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this free webinar for all those who want to conduct researches in their own field of expertise in business, in education, in engineering, arts and sciences, in any other fields that might this particular webinar would be of great help. And welcome you all here. Thank you very much. Should I present now, sir?
Yes, sir, sure.
Okay. How can I share? Please, please able the sharing.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so I'll be talking about drafting research article for publication. Okay. So these are my affiliations and my RCID number. As recognized, who is writing on my PowerPoint, please? Would you mind to avoid doing that?
Sorry, sir.
Okay, because I'm easily annoyed with those things. So if the participant do not want to listen, I am not forcing you to listen to my presentation. Thank you. So please observe ethical way in attending webinar like this because we are far from each other and we are just doing the platform Zoom. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Okay, so my present today we'll be having part one and part two. The part one guidelines on what to write and part two what to look for a manuscript. Basically, it has something to do with what should be done or what should be the idea or ideas on what to write. Most probably in line with what you are good at or your areas of interest. And part two, what to look for a manuscript, meaning the criteria so that we have to satisfy all the possible questions needed to qualify for publication. And my presentation always starts with a quotation. So let's think about this. For us to stay in the competition, learn to learn, and be equipped with knowledge, skills, and appropriate attitudes. So as you can see there, we should be learn how to learn and be equipped with the necessary knowledge, specifically with the areas of our interests or with our profession. If you're a teacher, so try to focus on teaching, learning, and also, of course, in the environment where you are good at. Skills, the necessary capability and ability of a person to conduct researches. And also, of course, it is a way for you to be able to deliver the message to your constituents and to your clientele to be more appropriate. And appropriate attitude, the attitude towards the process of conducting researches, which include the behavior in the innermost which include as well as your emotion, your adversity quotient, your emotional quotient. Those are very important in conducting research because it is not that easy to write a particular research topic or a research focus. Or most probably, if you have done the research, presentation, preparation and presentation of your article for publication. Sorry. So for the part one, guidelines on what to write. Okay. The objectives of this particular webinars are the following. First, identify and understand the different techniques in writing a research article for publication. So we should understand, we should deliberately focus our attention and behave accordingly and try to mesmerize with the different techniques on how to write a research article for publication. Delineate the different parts of a research article for publication because it is not just article, but we will be talking here of scholarly written article, of which in different journals in the international arena, they have their own standards. Most probably, I'll be presenting you the generic standards for the different parts of a research article for publication. Number three, critically evaluate the content of an article intended for publication standards. Since that we are supposed to look for from the title per se, the abstract, the introduction, etc., following the IMRAD form. So what should be the content that might be appeared in your research article? So those are very important. Take note of those things. Okay, so let us focus on what to write and how to write. Tips in writing research paper or research article. Choose a research topic that is close to your heart, meaning one where you are most comfortable with and within the realm of your interest, as what I've said, within your area of interest, within your area of your prowess should be developed, inclination or expertise, but of course, within the coverage of the journal theme. So it is very important to cover the journal theme. It always dependent on the journal publication or the publicators. Okay. Number two, one which is different, if not original, because when we talk of research, research comes from the word recherche, meaning to search out or to look for, to find for. So meaning there's no originality. When we are referring to originality, the focus, the attention, and the topic per se. But we will be focusing on what we interest most. Let's say, for example, the learning and teaching, business strategy, business economics, even the environment. So what can you contribute to a certain industry to be able to improve the status of that industry? Like, for example, in the case that we are in the pandemic, what most probably the areas for us to conduct research? In what would be, or what could we possibly contribute to a certain organization, to our community, to our society, to our nation? Next one is one which is relevant and worth writing about. For example, the one that we are doing. Most of our scientists of today, specifically the medical scientists, are keep on doing researches on how to create or formulate a vaccine that will definitely fight against the COVID-19. What should be the platform necessary for those people who really need to learn in education sector? Specifically, those who are coming from afar, meaning those who cannot be reached by the internet. And also, of course, with no connectivity when it comes to platform, internet, platform, Zoom, and even the Google Class. The next one that will give added value or contribution to the industry, academe, or specialized fields. Let's say physical education, the calisthenics. What should be the best calisthenic movements that will improve the health conditions of the attendees or of the people or of the community? So it's up to you to research on how to improve walking, how to improve the cardiovascular system and status of a person. It's up to you. Will it help to contribute to the industry? Will it help to the academe? Will it help to specialized field such as the theme sports? So will it improve the sports system, etc.? One where you have easy access to data. This is one among the focus of our attention, especially those people who keeps on researching scientific in nature. Scientific in a sense that we have to look for something that will enhance our lives, not to the extent that it extending our lives. No, but simply utilized and fully experienced living on Earth. So where you have, one where you have easy access to data. Most probably, if I will be in the Philippines, I'll be focusing my attention in the Philippine setting. How if one of my students asked me to conduct a research to provide or to produce a violin string out of cow's milk? But cow's milk will always be dependent on the quality of its content. Let's say the acid content, which is very important, or the carbon content, which is very important in developing a violin string. So if I will be in the Philippines, if the researcher will be coming from the Philippines, we need to go to, let's say, Europe or European countries like New Zealand for us to study the chemical content of a particular cow's milk. So if I will be the person or the researcher responsible for that, I will be going places somewhere in the Philippines to look for the best possible quality milk or cow's milk. Okay, number 2, read extensive literature and studies related to your research topic. Yes, one among the purposes why we have to have literature and related studies is for us to identify whether our topic, our focus is within the realm of our interest, or if it is within the existing focus of research. So might probably you have to look for something that would give added value to a certain group. And that is one way also to be able to distinguish or to identify the commonalities between your idea and the ideas of those people who have already published their researches. If it is not original, most probably separated from the focus or different from the focus. Number 3, gather, cut, or photocopy materials related to your research topic. Why? In order for you to always glance at those information that might probably of great help in the formulations of your statement of the problem, identifications of your variables, etc. Letter B for number 3, label each of the cut or photocopied materials by using keywords or statements. Write accurately your source. Why? For us not to be sued with plagiarism. This includes the title, the author, the date, and the page for you to easily go back or review the information. And number 3, letter C, file the clippings according to ideas. It is dependent on what comes first from the variables that you have identified. The next one is know the topics to be avoided. And this is very important. Why? Because some of the topics are too vague. Some of the topics are also already harassed or overused. So number one, topics that are too vague. Yes. Let's say, for example, sexual harassment or pandemic. Pandemic is a topic which is very broad. What in particular in pandemic? Topics that are too big is one among the aspects that we need to qualify and quantify. How big is big? How small is big? That's it. So we can easily identify if the topic is too big if there are some elements that can be drawn from the main focus. Let's say sexual harassment. What in particular in sexual harassment? Is it the act? Is it the law? Is it the place? Is it the culture, etc.? So it is very big for us to consider. Topics that can be traced to a single source where the ball came from. You can easily identify. So it is not researchable, but you can easily identify. Who is the first president of India? There is no question about that. And you don't need to research that. Who is the first Philippine women president? You can easily identify. Who is the first American president? You can easily identify. And you can trace easily from a single source. Topics that are too technical. When we talk of too technical, let's give a benefit of the doubt to those people who will really want to conduct technical researches. Let's say, for example, I myself have conducted a research which is focused on the medium chain triglyceride coming from coconut milk. So it means it is a technical aspect because I myself is a technical person. But if not, you are doing business, do not touch the technical aspect of doing the business. Let the technical thing assign to those people who are good at an area of specialized technical. Let's say electrical wiring. Let's say plumbing. If you're a businessman, unless otherwise, you own the plumbing industry. But if not, do not touch that idea anymore. And you will find difficulties in conducting research. Letter D, topics that are trivial. Where the egg came from. That's too trivial. Topics that are overused, sexual harassment, leadership, peace and order. It is very tiring to think more of those topics. Unless otherwise, you will be introducing a new concept out of those topics. So that is why it is very important for us to read a lot of research articles, literature, and research studies. And letter F, topics that are contemporary. So you just simply go with the flow. So it is up to you now to consider all these things as the topics to be avoided. If not, go ahead. No one will definitely be stop you on what you really want to do. Number 5, in writing the title, take note. These are very useful in the presentations of your research. Make your title as brief, concise, specific, and attractive as possible. Because there's a lot of topics, there's a lot of title, which you cannot even identify the different variables involved. Include the significant variables, that's what I've said, is to include the significant variables involved in their respective relationship, if they do have relationship. Let's say, for example, performance of a teacher in the classroom against the performance of the students in the classroom when it comes to their examinations, when it comes to their classroom activities, when it comes to their performance in answering questions. We have different types of questions. Easy type of question, medium type question, and difficult type examinations. Okay, see to it that the title answers the questions what, who, and where. To be more specific, to be more attractive, to be more specific, to be more concise, and to be more brief. As simple as possible is as attracted very much to those people who will be reading your manuscript or article. Number 6, see to it that the research title capsulizes the statement of the problem, because the title per se is your statement of the problem. And for those attendees who have already conducted researches, you might probably done it and observed that your title is your thesis, is your statement of the problem. To put it in another way, the statement of the problem should be consistent with the title of the research paper. That's it. Because whatever your statement of the problem, it will appear in your title of your research. And also, of course, those are the areas of which you can draw your information, specifically in the construction of your instrument, the questionnaire, wherein you can have the checklist as a questionnaire for the survey, or even an open-ended questionnaire or closed-ended questionnaire. It's up to you now where to easily get the information. Is it the checklist, of which there is a great bias when it comes to the authenticity, the validity, and veracity of the answers of your respondents? The next one is 7. Described adequately the research design of your study. So what do we mean by research design? It follows a certain methodology of which you can drive and draw the different designs, like let's say, for example, narrative as a research, book review as a research, phenomenological study as a research. Those are designs. Basically, from those concepts, you will be able to cut all the steps from first step to the last step of collecting, analyzing, tabulating, analyzing, evaluating, and making conclusions out of the data you will be collected. So research design is very important. It falls under 2 different great categories. First, qualitative research, and the second one is quantitative research. So there's a lot of research design under quantitative, and also, of course, under qualitative design. And if I'll be discussing that, that will be another method or another webinar. So focusing on 2 different designs. Number 8, define carefully the populations of your respondents, the sampling technique to be used, if a sample is desired, or if needed, and the sample units involved in this study, because we will be designing your own sampling technique or following the different techniques. It could either be probabilistic or non-probabilistic sampling techniques. So there's a lot of methods. It's up to you. Or you can have your focus group discussion, of which the participants should pass the criteria. Let's say your respondents must be 6-footer in height, no over, no lesser, 6 flat. So most probably you can easily identify those people whose height is flat 6 foot. Okay? Number 9, state and enumerate the contents of your research instrument. Yes, as what I've told you, research instrument is very important. This is one way to be able to draw information from your respondents, directly from your respondents. Or else, you will be implementing a qualitative research design, which is fall under documentation. you will never be using any instrument, only the statement that will lead you to what particular data to be used and utilized in your research. And the last one is show explicitly the parallelism in your statement of the problem, the arrived findings, and the corresponding conclusions and recommendation. At present time, recommendations is no longer in use, but for future use. So they just simply use other terminologies of words the same meaning. Recommendation should be what? What should be the application, what should be what the organization or the people could possibly get from your research output. Okay? And that is from Felina Yang 2000. Okay, so the content of an article. Yes? You want to say something?
No, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. So to continue, the content of an article for publication, complete title of the article, name of the author or authors if the research is has been made by two or more authors, then the abstract, the keywords, and for the introduction, we have the methodology, discussions, and results, and conclusions and direction for used. Also, of course, the acknowledgement where you can get all the information or the other people, organization, establishment where you have utilized the resources, more so your respondents. Okay? So these are the contents of a particular research article. And as you can see there, the components of RAP, the research article for publications are the title, the abstract, the body, and the references. What are these things? What should be observed or what do we expect from this RAP? The first one, the title, commonly answer the questions what, who, and where, which is very concise, understandable, informative, and specific. This is really what attract most of the journal publication. They simply look at the title and they will expect what is in the content of your research. Me, myself, as a reviewer, as an editor, I commonly look first at the title. If it is possible for publication, I will recommend to review the contents of the research. If not, as an editor, I have to suggest whenever I have read all the contents of the research to change, modify, or even enhance the title in order not to change the content of your research paper or the manuscript. That is the easiest way to save time, to save effort, and to save the faces of the researchers. We have to change, enhance the title to be able not to double work your research outputs. And you will encounter that in many cases, in different parts of the world. Even the seasoned researchers, they could possibly think of a research title which is appropriate to what should be getting or what should be reflected in the title, in the content, and they have found out that it's the most appropriate. But no, if somebody will critic and give some feedback to enhance, still you have to change it. Okay? Because it's up to the theme of the journal. So the next one is how to prepare a title. Make a list of the most important keywords. That is very important. the keywords first. Why? Because it should definitely be appeared in your title. Formulate the title that will contain the identified keywords. First draft, second draft, third draft, fourth draft, for as long as you have not able to prepare the title according to the keywords that you have identified. But take note, the keyword should answers the query in your mind. Will it help the public? Will it improve the system? Will it add value to the industry or profession? Or will it enhance the lives of the people? Number 3, it should state most probably the not the conclusions of the paper. That's it. What is expected from your research? That exactly your title. That exactly your statement of the problem. In that exactly the variables that you have identified ahead before anything else. Okay? So the next one is in the abstract. Abstract is a 1 or 2 paragraphs that entails the brief description of the research. It is considered as the backbone or the gist of the research. Most of the time, organizations or publications are asking or requesting, not requesting, but asking the abstract, the writers or the researchers to prepare an abstract which is not more than 200 words, which is not include the conjunction. Okay? So meaning, the abstract should be concise, should be brief, should be short, should be what? The summary of your research paper. So whatever it is, everything should be congested into 1 or 2 paragraphs, which is in compliance to what the journal is asking to the researchers. In some other organization, in some other journal publications, they are allowing the researchers to do an abstract to no more than 1,000 words. So again, abstract is dependent on the journal where you will be publishing your research. So commonly to a maximum of 250 words in the international publication. So that's what I've said, commonly. So the next one is Enumerate, or the body. Enumerate form meaning introduction, method, result, and discussion. That's how we define or spell out Enumerate in a form. So the flesh or meat of the scientific research paper, following the international standards in its presentations, which include the introduction, the methods, results, and discussions. So take note, it is the flesh, meaning it completes the research with all the content following the international standards for publication, introduction, methods, results, and discussions. Okay, so the Enumerate form basically have different aspects. So the discussion will always be at the last portion of the research paradigm or simulacrum. So discussions, results, methods, introduction. Or you have to have your introduction, method, result, and discussion. In some other ways, those are the vice versa in the presentation of research, especially if you have done the research. So introduction formally presents the research study. It explicitly mentions what the research topic is all about, sets the tone, and gradually leads the reader to research topic. Exactly. It should be what we call deductive in form. What does it mean by deductive? From the macro perspective down to micro perspective. It means from the general term to specific term. So from those concepts, and also of course, do not forget the reason why you have encountered that particular topic, that particular title. So means introduction is the evolution of your research study. But do not go beyond 2 pages introduction, or else you are just simply narrating why you have to conduct research. So most probably readers might not be of interest in reading the entire content of your research. So introduction commonly answers the following question. The first one is, what am I studying? What am I doing? What am I conducting? Those are possible questions. What is the focus? What is the attention? How to catch the attentions of the people? Next, why is it considered important question? Really? Why is it important? Why your search or your topic or your title or your area of specialization is important? The next one is, what do I know about the topic before I engage in this research? Ask yourself, am I capable of doing this? So take note in the tips and writing research number 4, the topics to be avoided. Am I good at this particular area? Am I good in this particular research? Am I good in this particular topic? Because researchers do not pay attention if it is beyond the control of his expertise. Or else, if you are that experimental, you might probably, sorry, love to do the research, even if it is beyond your prowess. Sorry. So the next one is, what model will I be using? Exactly. The methodology that you will be applying. Let's say, for example, qualitative methods or quantitative method. What in particular design under qualitative? It could either be phenomenological, the grounded theory, the narrative theory, the essay story, documentation, etc. So what in quantitative? More probably, you are using the parametric and non-parametric testing. So those are the applications of statistics. Because from the word itself, quantitative, it will involve definitely of statistics and mathematics, of which you will be computing, analyzing, and making conclusions out of the results of your statistical values. The next one, what approach do I need to take? What does it mean by approach? Is it an interview? Is it a survey? Is it observation? Take note, when we talk about observation, it has something to do with the 3 different levels or type. The first one is pure observation. You just simply served as the third party. You're just simply observing what is happening to a given situation or scenario. Number 2, observant participation. Participants. When we talk of observer, participants, you are there to observe, but at the same time, you are to perform what the people are doing. And the last one is participant. You are just simply observing based on the account that you have done what other people are doing. Like a very good example for that is ethnographic research, especially if you came from afar or if you came from the city, going to know You will be conducting the ethnographic or ethnography of a certain tribe. So you have to be there. You have to live the life they have. And you have to perform whatever they are performing. That exactly what is what we called participant observations. Okay? And these steps in the presentations of your introduction enumerate the factors leading to the choice of the research topic. Exactly what I have said. You are narrating how you came up with a particular topic, screened down into specific one. Let's say, for example, you slipped when you are walking, whenever you are going to somewhere, when you are going to, let's say, to the beach, and suddenly you step a banana peel, and suddenly you fell. So that's the start of your research. What is in the banana peel? Why if that is why when you step over the banana peel, you suddenly slept on the floor. What does it mean? What are the elements that give what? Um, um, sleeping elements or smoothing elements. Because once that, if it touches the surface of the floor, definitely it will slides down. So what are the chemicals that will give the banana peel and sliding elements? See? So those are factors that might be considered very important and effective in the process of formulating an introduction. Number two is stating the existing conditions. What does it mean by existing condition? Like what is happening in the world during the pandemic? What is the present condition of your country? What is the present condition of your community? What is the present condition of your family? And what is the present condition of yourself? Those are important to be able to easily identify the different factors. And number three, giving the macro perspective of the entire research study. As what I've said, from the macro perspective, very generic, very general, down into specificity. Number four, explaining the importance of the study. Why is it important? So try to ask yourself, try to look at the title. It is very important because of what? It will give added value to the lives of the people. It will add value to the government policies in order for them to create an effective policies of the state. It adds knowledge and information to those who will read the research. It will add to control the behavior of the people, etc. Number five, mentioning the rationale or the reasons for choosing the research topic. Why you have chosen, and somebody are asking you to change it, and somebody are helping you. What does it mean by rationale? The reasons why you are to conduct a research. The next one, approach in the presentation of introduction. Begin with a provocative quotation or statement that life is too short. So what does it mean by that? That we should be happy to get always, every now and then. But what makes you happy? What will you make happy? So those are provocative quotations or statements. Emphasize a critical and urgent issue or concern like what we are doing in pandemic. educators, frontliners, scientists, such as doctors and nurses, and also, of course, medical technologies, and even sciences or scientists are using their life, effort, time, and even energy, more specifically, their intelligence, to be able to come up, prepared, produce the necessary vaccine to help extend the life of the people in the world. Enumerate a series of relevant questions. What if? How if? Why if? Like what is in the mind of most of the people when the government pronounced that there is no guarantee that vaccine, whenever injected or whenever you receive the vaccine in your body, will save your life from the acquisition of the virus COVID-19. So, what is the use of subjecting yourself to COVID-19 vaccine? If it is not, or if there is no assurance that it will create a tremendous changes in our body or create or mutate the antibodies to be able to reject the coronavirus entering our body system. Those are possible questions. Okay, so the next one is method or methods. It refers to the set of rules and procedures employed in systematically arriving at the solution of the research problem, which is precise, complete, and concise. Take note of the word. Procedures, rules, and procedures employed in a systematically arriving at a certain solution. But how can we have a certain solution? Take note, there is no shortcut in conducting research. It seems that there is no shortcut to become rich. Exactly the same thing. Same principles are applied in conducting research. You have to go on with the first step, preliminary, secondary, tertiary, quarterly, etc. Those are very important. It is somewhat like preparing a lesson plan. If you're a teacher, what should be the first to appear in your lesson plan? Your objective. And from that objective, you will be developing what? Steps, methods, and even techniques on how to teach the subject matter at hand. So the next one commonly answered the questions, how and how much? Yes. How? The steps. How? The procedures. How? The rules must be followed. And how much? Will it take the researchers to spend $1,000, $100, or even $10? It depends. It depends on what topic you have in mind. If it is extended research, such as cross-functional, it takes time. So you will be spending a bit higher when it comes to expenses. Okay? So the next one is, oh my God, cancel. For a while, I got some technical problem. Okay, so the next one is, It includes only relevant information without unnecessary details, anecdotes, or excuses, because the steps are very exact. What should be done is what should be expected to use and apply, which also include the explanations of the analytical techniques such as statistics and mathematics or modeling. The core of heart of when we talk of research, we are supposed to include results. Results are the core or heart of the paper that needs to be clearly and simply stated, since it constitutes the new knowledge that will contribute to the world. The results are deemed to be truthful. The results are deemed to be verified, validated, and simply checked the veracity of the information. Or else, you will be contributory to the liability of our society. Let's say what had happened to um, the vaccine provided by the American um, scientists, that when they have the pilot testing for more than 100,000 people, and they recall all the vials, because they have miscalculation the result. Instead of 95% accuracy, it turned out to be 65 below accuracy. So meaning the vaccine that they have conducted or formulated is not the one appropriate for the people, especially those who have already experienced acquiring the virus. Okay? It may contribute to the dilemma or more serious problem of the nation. So, results, it summarizes and illustrates the findings in an orderly and logical sequencing without interpretation that guide the readers through the findings, stressing the major points. It is just a result. You don't need to interpret yet, because interpretation will fall under analysis and evaluation. Result might be considered in a tabular form, graphical form, line graph form, or simply words in description. Okay? So the discussion is the hardest section to write. Yes, because you must have the knowledge of the mathematical results before you came up with an appropriate discussion. So its primary purpose is to show the relationships among observed found facts with a short summary or conclusion regarding the significances of the work. So most probably, the one that you have reviewed must be useful in validating or invalidating the present condition. Whatever the result at hand on utilized or came up based on the interview or based on the instrument used will be interpreted accordingly, or else misinterpretation will lead to misconclusion, and misconclusion will lead you to a wrong direction. Do you agree on that? Okay. So discussion it also states conclusions as clearly as possible that summarizes evidence for each conclusion. So let's say that the respondents belong to male with the age bracket between 20 to 29 years of age, and also finished a doctorate degree with a salary of $250,000 a year. That's exactly the discussion. And to be more specific, it is also served as your summary of your evidence for the conclusion that you have made. And the discussions, as you can see in the what we called cone shape, answer the questions ask, support conclusions, depends conclusion, and give the bigger picture or the take-home message. What does it mean by take-home message? The learning and the knowledge you have acquired in your research. So most probably, those that can be of great help to other people who might be reading your research article. So the last one is referencing. Referencing is very important as well. And to be more acceptable, you have to follow two different form or format or style. The APA or the MLA. So the modern language authority, and also, of course, um, with the use of the Enumerate. Yun. So we are supposed to follow those formats in order for your article be accepted in the international journal publication. Basically, use the validate the information cited in the manuscript with depth. Take note. Yes. You want to say something? Should I continue?
No, no, please go ahead, sir.
Okay. So basically used to validate the information cited in the manuscript with depth. When we are going to consider this statement, we are supposed to use the information that you have read from the review of related literature that would probably make of great help to be able to compare what is the existence and what is your new findings. And for the part two, would you mind to, is it possible for you to ask questions, or should I continue with the part two before the question and answer? Should I
Uh,
continue?
if anyone has a question, please ask. Please unmute yourself and ask the question, if any.
So,
It
good
seems.
evening.
Yes, good evening. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. I'm Bhumika, assistant professor in computer applications. I'm
Yeah.
a researcher in Punjab University, Chandigarh.
Yes.
Sir, I want to ask you a question.
Yes, what question is?
So, comparative study of previous literature is important in a research paper or not?
Yes, it is important. Yes, why? In order for you to delineate what is the present outputs and what is the previous output, because the present scenario is different from the previous scenario.
Okay, sir. What should we include in that comparative study of all those papers that we have studied?
Okay, so all the results, but take note, you are comparing two different researches, but of the same variables if you are having quantitative research. But if it is a qualitative, you are supposed to have your own on the same focus. Let's say behavior. So you are supposed to compare only the behavior, no more, no less.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. But I want to ask one more question.
Oh, sure, you may.
Sir, most of the papers do not include results. So, in that case, what can we do in that comparative study of literature review?
You cannot compare if there will be no results. Comparative, comparative study basically have you are supposed to compare results. How can you compare if you do not have the data?
Okay, sir.
Yes. Thank you
Thank you,
very
sir.
much for your wonderful question. I hope that my answer will suffice your question.
Thank you, sir, so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Is anyone who has the question? So if there is none, I would like to continue my part two, what to look for to a manuscript for the international publication. And these are basically derived from the manuscript criteria for the manuscript acceptance. Okay, and I hope that this will add value to your query. So, what to look for the manuscript? Okay, let us start again with the quotation. Quality works always bears a signature. Take note of the word always bear a signature, meaning whenever you prepare your manuscript, make it sure that you are you will be very proud of your work. So what does it mean? It complies all the requirements needed by a publication. So it is basically from 2015 when I had studied the different criteria for publication in 2015. Okay, so to continue, the objectives of this part two mutilate academically from the scholar prepared manuscripts, because we have academically prepared and scholarly prepared manuscript. Analyze with depth the manuscript criteria for international publication and understand the importance of quality manuscript. Take note again, it depends on the standards of a particular journal publication. Okay? So anyone would probably has the chance to publish their researchers and encounter different qualifications or criteria set by another publication. So what I will be presenting to you is a generic form of an international quality manuscript criterion. Academically prepared manuscript, the introduction and its background, review of related literature, methodology, data presentation, analysis, interpretation, and summary of findings, conclusions, and recommendation. These are the 5 different subtitles of the academically prepared manuscript. Let's say, for example, you are writing a thesis, research intended for your master's degree, intended for your PhD degree. So these are basically the usual, but then and again, it depends on the policy of the institution. Okay, in the Philippines, we are following all these elements. And for the scholarly prepared manuscript, we have only 4: introduction, methodology, results, and discussion. The one that I have presented a while ago. But what to look for to a publication manuscript? First, mechanics. Second, organization. And the third one is quality. Then publication acceptance. Take note of the 3 different aspects or elements of a RAP: mechanics, organization, and the quality of the work. So let us discuss one by one. Mechanics, general appearance, including typing, sentence structure, semantics, or rhetorics, referencing, or bibliographic entries. These are very important. Why? Because there is a standard set by a journal publication. General appearance really help for the journal to sell the idea to other researchers, even though that the research journal are for free. But then we are always measuring the impact factor. But if the appearance is not that conducive for us to read, if that is not so attractive to the readers, it is very difficult to sell your journal. The next one is sentence structure. There should be a grammatical sequencing, order of from free grammar error. There should be coherence between and among sentences and paragraphs to paragraphs, which include the semantic, the use of the words, the appropriate words to use, and also, of course, rhetoric, the attractiveness, the appeal, the appearance, or the attraction of that words that you will be using. Sometimes the words that you have used is not that attractive. That is what we call rhetoric. And the last one is referencing or bibliographic entries. This is one way to be able to test if the work that you have done is original, in a sense that you are the one who made the paper and not copy-paste. Claro? Or else, you will be sued of plagiarism. And that is one way. Number two, organization. So organizations observe the following: coherence, consistency, unity of ideas. In relation to semantics, coherence when it comes to the main focus should be related to the second focus. Or if there is if there are differences, you have to use a linking words that will differentiate the two concepts, the two ideas, the two sentences, the two paragraphs. Clarity, the clearness of expression. Do not go beyond the bush. State the facts directly and clearly for the readers to understand what you are supposed to say. Emphasis, the focus of your attention, the focus of your study. So that is why there are keywords that would eventually make use to be able to create the title. And the unity of a structure from presentation, interpretation to conclusion. You will find some researches that the title, the result is different from the conclusion. It is far from the idea that what you are concluding is your result. It is very difficult to interpret those things. And logical presentations of the research report, from the introduction to methodology to this analysis, presentation, then discussion. Okay? And the last one is originality. Quality of the paper falls under, includes originality, free from plagiarism. Appropriateness of the use of presentations of materials such as tables, charts, figures, etc. And relevance of the study to the national, regional, or international development, which includes the awareness of the people through reading your information, the knowledge and information. And appropriateness of statistical treatment. Most probably, if it is t-test, test the difference. If it is R, or person-product moment correlation, it tests the coherence or relationship. Soundness of depth and depth of interpretations of findings in relation to validation and invalidations of the informations that you have used. More specifically, with the aid in the use of your review of related literature. And the relevance of conclusions and recommendation, or meaning your future use. And that will be all. Thank you very much for those people who have attended this presentation.
Thank you.
Any question?
Yes, yes. If anyone has any question, please unmute yourself and ask.
I hope you have learned something today from my presentation, and I hope it will of great help for those people who are willing to conduct researches. Thank you very much, and good evening.
We were live on this session was live on Facebook, WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, and many people are watching from there.
Okay, thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be part of this organization. Thank you.
It's our pleasure, sir, and from all research circle team and the participants who joined us today, we would like to thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. Thank you for this knowledgeable session. Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Yeah, thank you. So with your due respect, I would like to conclude this webinar. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So I would say thank you very much for the attendees, and also, of course, for the invitation to be the resources speaker for this wonderful organization that would definitely enhances the knowledge and informations of those people who really want to engage themselves into research, and for other people who will be benefited from your research output. Thank you very much. And once again, I would be leaving with so much fulfilled because of the information sharing to all those people. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.